What's up, CEOs? Looks like we are live. Hopefully, all the volume and sound is coming through. If you're watching this right now, type replay because you're probably watching the replay as I wait for people to come in on the live video. Let's see. Make sure all the sound is good. I remember to disconnect my speakers today, y'all, from upstairs. But anyway, if you are new to this group or to me, the Auto Dealer Business School, I'm Shamel, and I founded the Auto Dealer Business School for beginner auto dealers so that you could be successful right out the gate. Okay, good morning, y'all. Tell me who's watching. Tell me who's with me. Yeah, I started this so you can be successful right out the gate because the reality is it's going to cost you time and money to learn the lessons to be successful. And why lose all your money and, waste all your time trying to do something that many people have figured out before you? So since I have figured out some really key things for beginner auto dealers especially, I decided to share it. And that was like a agreement me and God made, okay? So I'm here because it's time to pay it forward and to lift my people up. Yes, Grand Rising, Kelvin. What's up? What's up, Corey? What's up? All right, y'all. So yeah, I figured that this one would be a popular video because I get a lot of people who ask me about startup costs. And for good reason. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. I get that. I wish I would have thought it all the way through in the beginning too. Hey, Renee. So I want to give you what I know about startup costs for auto brokers with an office only. Okay. So if you're not familiar with that term, auto broker, that usually means like an auto dealer who does not have a lot, just has an office. Okay. But I'm also going to give startup costs for car lots, so you can see how much you can expect to pay out in this process. All right. So before I forget, I want to make sure I let you know to download the startup costs sheet. So I have an actual startup cost PDF, and I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. But you're going to want to download that, okay? Because I do like just outline each thing that I'm going to talk about, and I have the total, and I'm also going to talk about fixed and variable costs in that download, which I might not get to today. Good morning, April. What's up? Okay, so be sure to click on the link in the video to download the startup costs PDF. Okay, so I'm giving that to you free because you need to know where you're going, and I get that. All right, so startup costs. So the very first thing you're probably going to spend money on, and definitely ask questions, is your pre-licensing seminar. Okay. I recommend, so I'm also going to go through these startup costs in the steps that I recommend you complete them, because I lost some money and some time when I first got licensed back in 2012 because I didn't understand, how to complete the process. So I ended up wasting some time renting a location for, much longer than I needed to without having the license active, like 6 months. Okay. So I'm going to go through in the order I recommend. I recommend your first step is your pre-licensing seminar. That's going to be the first thing you spend money on. A pre-licensing seminar is going to be anywhere from $100 to $300 for the seminar. I'm going to have, not every state requires a pre-licensing seminar. Okay. In drama-free licensing, I'm going to have a list of the states that require a pre-licensing seminar and those that do not. Okay, so you'll know right away if this first step, if you join drama-free licensing, which I'll also have the link in the description, you'll know right away if you need to do a pre-licensing seminar, if you need to search around, look for that or not. Okay, the pre-licensing seminar, in my opinion, is great to start first because it kind of immerses you in the business from the beginning. Okay. So that's why I recommend that to be the first step. So then the second thing you're going to spend money on after that is you're going to get your bond quote. And well, it's not going to cost you to get your bond quote. So let me clear that up. Okay. The bond costs, but you're going to get your bond quote. But of course, after you get your bond quote, then you're going to pay your bond. Okay. I don't recommend you pay your bond before you get your location, but that also is going to be clearer in drama-free licensing. But anyway, that's going to be your next thing you spend money on. What is a bond? In my opinion, I call it the insurance policy for the public. So it's in case you cheat anybody or you do bad business, they have a recourse to get their money back. Bond quotes are based on your credit. So you want to make sure that you can afford the quote that you get. I have seen bond quotes as low as $300, okay, to as high as $7,000. Okay, so you just want to make sure you have oh, my light went out. That was interesting. You have a quote that you can, including your budget, okay? Because a $7,000 bond quote, that's expensive. Now, what I want to make sure I mention here that I don't think I mentioned anywhere else is that where you are in the cycle of, every state has a cycle of licensing. So like here in Georgia, we have to renew in March of 2022, okay? So then that means that my bond quote is only going to be good until March of 2022. Okay. So if I get that bond quote in March of 2020, it's going to be a different price than if I got the bond quote in March of 2021. Are you with me? Do you understand what I'm saying there? So what I'm saying is, if you get a bond quote that's like $1,000 and you're like, ooh, this is a good bond quote, it may not be, because when you renew, you might have to pay double because of when you started in the cycle. Does that make any sense? Let me know you guys are hearing me. Okay. All right. So, that is a cost you have to consider. Then it's your location, which I know everybody is stressed about, right? Is this location, paying rent somewhere else, right? Okay, Renee, you're in Georgia. All right, so anybody have any questions about anything I've talked about so far? Okay, makes sense, April. Okay, great. This location, yes, bond renews in March 2022, yes. So this location, I know is stressing everybody. Everybody is like, this location, I need to make sure I can afford it. I gotta pay rent somewhere else that is not where I live, but it is supposed to bring you income, okay? So, for location, an office space, if you are an auto broker, okay, depending on where you are, okay, can run you between, I would say, $300 a month to $800 a month for an office space. So in the beginning of applying for your license, you are going to have that office space for a number of months before you are even ready to, sell cars. Okay. So what I mean by that is you're going to have the office space during the licensing process. So you have to make sure that you budget for that month that it's going to take them to approve your license, as well as the month after, because it's going to take you time to get all of the requirements and everything ready to buy cars. Okay. So when you start, of course, you're going to have the deposit. Then there's going to be your first month, your second month, your third month. You want to count on having that already in the budget, because before you make any money, that is going to be your expenses. That is my opinion. Okay. So any questions about office locations? While I'm waiting on questions, I will go to a lot. Now, it's really hard for me to give a range for a lot, because it really just depends on how big the lot is, how expensive real estate is, where you are. All I have to say is I am going to have some location hacks inside Drama Free Licensing for those who need a lot or who want a lot, but also need an affordable solution to getting a lot, okay? I mean, this light is just tripping. But yeah, so that'll be inside Drama Free Licensing. So make sure that you sign up for Drama Free Licensing for location hacks, because I can't really give an estimate. But all I have to say is, when you find your location, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to multiply the amount of rent by, you know, the first month, the deposit, the second month, the third month. Okay, so whatever that car lot costs, that's what you have to make sure you have. So don't just make sure you have the first month, because you're not going to make any money, you know, right away. Okay, not selling cars through your dealership. Let me just be clear. Okay, hello from Ohio. What's up, Chucks? All right, so any questions so far? We're up to how much your location is. Any questions so far about location? While I'm waiting for those questions, I am going to move on to incorporating. Okay, so incorporating is next. I recommend you incorporate your business because you want to definitely separate your personal assets from your business assets. That's what incorporating does. Hey, Mr. Anthony from Illinois. So incorporating in your state, you can incorporate on your own. Okay, and what I mean on your own is you can log into the Secretary of State. That's how you incorporate in all the states that I'm aware of. Is you log into your Secretary of State website, and they handle incorporating businesses. And then you just go through the motions of, you know, reserving your name or choosing your name, and, you know, giving your address, and, you know, all the motions. And then if you're going to be LLC or INC, that's in the name, right? And then you just pay their fees, okay? And every state has different fees. In Georgia, our fee is $100, but you also have to pay $40 to advertise your intent to incorporate in Georgia, okay? So, you know, that's something that you'll definitely want to make sure you investigate all the qualifications to, you know, be legally incorporated in your state. But you can do it yourself. Now, I am moving into a stage in my life where I am realizing that it is best to pay experts to do what experts do. So I'm not saying to do it yourself. What I'm saying is you can. And that those are the only fees you'll pay are the fees the state charges you to incorporate, okay? But if you choose to go with an incorporation company, you'll pay their fee on top of what it costs you to incorporate in your state. Okay, so any questions about that? I just want to make sure I'm clear. Any questions about incorporating? You can incorporate on your own. You could also get an incorporation company to help you out with that. Okay, any questions about incorporating? While I'm waiting for incorporation questions, I do want to go back a little bit to the location, because I forgot to mention that to get your location ready, you need to do a couple of things. So in addition to renting the location, you need to have, in most states, all the ones that I'm aware of, you need to have a locking file cabinet. And the purpose of that is because you have people's personal information, and it needs to be locked up, okay? So you need to have a locking file cabinet. Some places will provide that, some places won't. So you have to include that in your budget if you don't. You have to have a sign for the door and usually for the street, okay? So that'll be a cost associated with your location. You have to have internet, phone, a phone service, okay? So what I mean by phone service and phone is you have to have an actual phone in your office, like one of them, you know, I guess it could be any kind of phones, but, you know, I have one of those like office phones, you know, that kind of sit up and it's got the little display, right? You have to have a phone, and then you have to have a phone service, of course, a landline service. And people say, oh, you can do voice over IP. That's not what the application says, okay? So make sure you get a landline. That's usually from an Xfinity, or I think AT&T does landlines. I'm not sure who else in your area, but make sure you're getting a landline phone, and then you need internet. You also gonna need a zoning certificate. In my county, it was free. I do know that some counties do charge, so you have to include that in your budget. And here I needed a certificate of occupancy, and that was $100. So you might also need that with your location. So any questions about location? Location. All right, so other things, like after you get the location and you get the incorporation, like it's on, okay? Like all the other requirements, in my opinion, they happen like back to back to back. Once you get that location, you can get your application submitted within a week. And these are the other things that you need to make sure you have, okay? So you'll be paying for garage liability insurance, your fingerprints, your application fee for your state, and you might want to pay for an application review from some of these organizations that provide them, okay? So let me back it up a bit. Garage liability, what can you expect it to cost? Just like any insurance policy, you can finance it. Okay. It varies based on your driving history. My average garage liability has been $1,500 for the year. And, they usually require like $400 down and then payments of $100 a month. So you can look at it like that, or you can pay it all at once, or, so put that in your budget, however your budget allows you to move. Okay. Fingerprints. I haven't seen fingerprints more than $100 here in Georgia. They're around $50. The application fee is usually a couple of $100. I have noticed in some places a little higher, like in Illinois, it's a little high. But I will also have a breakdown of all the application fees in drama-free licensing, like what your application fee will look like in drama-free licensing, okay? And then the application review. So I have this I paid for an application review because I had this inclination that these organizations that send in your application on your behalf, they're trusted by the licensing board. And so because they're trusted to do their job and do their job well, and to do their job like 100% correct, then it is my theory that those applications aren't scrutinized as heavily. Okay. And I think that is correct based on like looking back in the meeting notes from when I was first approved. The timelines, they were real quick. So I think that as long as I had certain boxes checked, because it came from that organization, it was good. And that cost me $250. So I would recommend you put that in your budget, because anything that can save you time saves you money. Okay. So I think that might be a good thing to invest in. All in all, with an office, as an auto broker, you're looking at about $3,000 to $4,000 for your license. Depending on if you pay your insurance, all up front, depending on if your bond policy is for 1 year or 2 years or how long it is. So there are some variables. I don't want you to say, oh, like you said it was going to be $3,000. No, there are some variables, but I'm just kind of giving you a number. Okay. And then for a car lot, I would have to say, because a car lot is going to definitely be a little more, it's going to be around $6,000 to $8,000 for just the startup part, the licensing part. Okay. So any questions? Any questions? And I probably should have started with the total and then broke it down. If I do this video again, I think I'll do it like that so that you all aren't waiting like, well, how much is that? Like all together. All right. So any questions about the budget and startup costs and licensing? Any questions? While I'm waiting on questions, there are going to be some things you pay for after you're approved. Okay. So I want to make sure you know about these, and I'm going to run through these kind of quickly because I really recommend you just download the startup costs sheet so you'll have it for you. Okay. So you're going to need a business license, which is around $100 in most states. Dealer tags you're going to pay for. That's going to be around $50 to $100 in most states. You're going to pay for auction access, which is $99. You're going to pay for your buy here, pay here application, which varies by state. Okay. In Georgia, it's $100. You're going to pay for your temporary operating stickers, tags, temp registration. They're going to be several different names for it. Okay. But you're going to need to have it because you're going to need to give temporary registrations to your buyers. Okay. I don't know exactly how much it's going to be in every state. But it's usually, like, I don't know, $50 to let's say $150. Okay. But I do have those numbers in the startup sheet. And then you're going to need your auction tools. Okay. So that you can check the cars you buy. So you're going to need a code reader and, some other things that I recommend that I'll also have in drama-free licensing as well, and a breakdown of what those auction tools are. You're going to need a deposit, open your business bank account. So you're going to need to have the deposits to open that as well as the budget to put into the business bank accounts. You're going to need a dealer management software. You're going to definitely need professional training. Okay. I.e. the Auto Dealer Business School. I'm doing this because I realized startup auto dealers needed training to understand how to run their business, also how to set up their business so that it runs better and it runs lean and it runs clean. Okay. So you're definitely going to want to invest in something like that. If you don't, you're going to spend the money anyway, and you're going to spend way more than what it costs for the professional training. Because you got to spend money on the lessons. You got to get the lessons one way or the other. Either you're going to get them from a mentor or you're going to spend money on them and your time. Okay. So, put that in your budget. Then you're going to need a printer because you're going to be printing out these temp registrations at the very least, but also printing out your deal packets for your, buyers to sign. You're going to need an electronic title transfer service, which is pretty inexpensive. And most of them just charge you per transaction. So that's not like an upfront cost, but I want to give you costs to think about. And you're going to need some kind of bookkeeping software. Okay. So I have a rundown of what all those costs are and the total, so that once you are approved, to get started, getting ready to buy, because you need all those things in place to get ready to buy. You need your dealer tags to buy. You can't get in any auction without dealer tags. Okay. And if you're going to use any auction that's on the Auction Access Network, you need auction access. So these are fees that you definitely need to be aware of so that you're ready to pay them when it's time to pay them. All right. I know I ran through that. You guys have been quiet. Is that because you're taking notes? If you're taking notes, you can just download the startup costs. I have it all outlined for you in there. But do you have any questions? I want to make sure I get your questions because I get this question most of the time. Like, how much does it cost to get my license? How much does it cost to be an auto broker? How much does it cost to open a car lot? Okay. This is how much it costs to get in the game. And of course, I didn't even mention you have to also have money for your inventory, which I do include in the download for the startup costs. Okay. So any questions? Any questions? Okay. If you have any questions come up later, definitely put them in the comments. Any estimates for inventory? Okay. great question. Got it. So I estimate inventory as cash card inventory that you're going to be buying. I estimate it to be between $600 to $1,700, depending on what kind of vehicle you are buying, especially if you're doing cash cars. Renee, got it. April, do you think it's more costly to buy or rent or location? Well, I would have to say buying is always more of a benefit because, when you buy, you are essentially investing that money towards ownership one day, right? Like, so if you have a monthly payment, you're investing that towards ownership. You have more control over that location. You have more of a long-term investment. So I think the real question is, what can you do in the short term? And can you in this short term, can you invest in a long-term decision? Because buying is a long-term decision that is a good decision, but are you able to do that in the beginning? Now, if it takes you 10 years or even 2 years before you can buy a place, I would have to say, don't wait to buy, because in that time, especially if you work with a mentor, you could have made $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in 2 years, right? So get started however you can get started so that you can start building this wealth. Then that wealth can go towards you buying this location, okay? Hopefully that answers your question, April. Let me know. Renee, what kind of profit can I expect from that investment from your experience? So it's not what you can expect from profit. You have to create your profit in your cars. And that's part of what I teach inside the Auto Dealer Business School programs, is how to create profit in your sales. Because it's not you can't just expect it. You have to make it happen by how you buy and by how you sell. Okay. So if you follow the tips that I share, then you can expect at least $1,500 per sale. Okay. If you go at it on your own, I have seen that most people get about $500 profit per sale because they don't have the tips on how to create that profit in their vehicles. Yes, I'm trying to lease, but most want to sell. Okay, April. Yes. All right, great. Okay, what's up, Steve? Welcome. We are about to wrap up though, boo. So watch the replay and make sure 2 things. I want you to make sure you download the startup cost, because I don't want y'all to be the ones like, how much did you say it was? I got you. It's in the startup cost sheet. Okay. Download that. And then the second thing I want you to do is sign up for drama-free licensing. It will be open soon. I'm expecting it to be this month, like the middle of the month. Okay. I've been working on just pulling together all these details from all these different states so that you can have all the information in one place. All right. So let me know, was this helpful? Let me know if it wasn't helpful, what you wish you would have learned in this video. As always, I am rooting for your success. So let's get it. All right, CEOs, until next week. Next week, though, I have to keep you posted because I am going on a little vacation. So I'll have to keep you posted about next week. Hey, good morning, Hassan. All right, y'all. Well, that's my time. Extremely helpful. Okay, great. How can I be a part of Auto Dealer Business School? Great. So 2 ways. You can schedule a strategy session. And I'll put that link in the description too. Schedule a strategy session, or you can send me an email and I can send you the information on the programs. I really like the strategy session because I'm able to get to know you and to see if we're a good fit for working together, or if I have what you need, because maybe you're trying to do something that I don't know nothing about. Okay, so I'll put the link to the strategy session in the in the description. Okay, great. I'm glad it was extremely helpful, April. All right, y'all. Like I said, I wish you success, and I will talk to you soon. We'll do that today, Renee. All right. I look forward to talking to you. Yes, let's do it, Hassan. Let's do it. Okay, because this is a fun business. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Have a good one. Bye.